and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit. Profound words from the wise King Solomon. Whatever the situation you're facing today, speak life over it. Welcome to another edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm Audrey Williams. Coming up in the show, I look at how the government is educating the nation on the negative effects of climate change. Also, we explore another topical issue in Healthwise. The news, then all this right after.
To speak life to the deadest, darkest night. Speak life with the sun. We want a productive Jamaica. We are not productive Jamaicans. Productivity to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity is the way to go for all us Jamaicans. Small business, big business, old and young, we are tell every woman and man. We want growth and prosperity for a better nation with a building plan. So we can build our product and sell our product and put more money in our hand. Our economy can rise to a level and build a better nation. Productivity to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand.
Productivity, pathway to prosperity. A message brought to you by the Jamaica Productivity Center, a department of the Ministry of Labor and Social Security.
Good day, I'm Stacey Ann Smith, and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, March 11. Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller has asserted that a non-confrontational approach needs to be taken by the Caribbean community CARICOM on the issue of reparations. She said reparation was important, given the history and modern consequences of slavery in Jamaica and the wider Caribbean, but insisted it should be a process of reconciliation and dialogue, free from animosity. The Prime Minister was addressing the 25th intersessional meeting of the Conference of CARICOM Heads of Government in St. Vincent and the Grenadines Monday. Reparations for native genocide and slavery was a key agenda item. It's a topic of intense discussion in the Caribbean, which has led to the formation of individual national commissions in Jamaica, Antigua and Barbuda, Barbados, Belize, Guyana, St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Suriname. A CARICOM Reparations Commission was also constituted to deal with the matter. Mr. Simpson Miller spoke following a presentation by historian Professor Hilary Beckles, who put forward a 10-point action plan on reparations for the heads to adopt. Before heading to the CARICOM meeting, the Prime Minister indicated that Jamaica was working towards the ratification of the International Labour Organization ILO Convention 189. The convention will impact the status and working condition of household workers across the world.
This is a matter in which the Bureau has partnered with the Ministry of Labour and Social Security and the Household Workers Union to bring to a successful outcome.
Prime Minister Simpson Miller was speaking Friday at a cocktail reception to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the Bureau of Gender Affairs held at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. She asserted her administration's commitment to gender equality. Meanwhile, 19 community-based organizations were given grant funding worth $200,000 each for institutional building, education, training and income-generating activities. The Criminal Justice Suppression of Criminal Organizations Act, more commonly known as the anti-gang legislation, got the Senate's approval on Friday. It was previously passed in the lower house of Parliament on February 18. Passage of the bill will strengthen the justice system and allow the police to more effectively suppress and disrupt organized criminal enterprises. The Senate passed the legislation with 3 amendments, including a longer prison sentence of 25 years for persons who recruit children into gangs.
The effect of it would mean that the penalty in relation to recruitment of children would have a higher basic penalty attached than recruiting adults, which I think was a sentiment that the Senate felt was important for the law to convey.
Penalty for the recruitment of an adult is imprisonment of up to 20 years. The bill will now go back to the lower house for approval of the Senate's amendments before the Governor General can officially sign it into law. Relaxed visa requirements to Brazil and Bermuda were also announced in the Senate last Friday. Foreign Affairs Minister Senator A.J. Nicholson revealed that Jamaican nationals traveling to Bermuda for tourism, business, or on a work permit no longer need a visa or visa waiver. Persons must, however, have a valid multiple entry visa to the USA, Canada, or the United Kingdom.
This is indeed a welcome development for Jamaicans who propose to visit Bermuda. and comes just a few weeks after I had signed with the Foreign Minister of Brazil here in Kingston an agreement to facilitate a visa-free travel of Jamaican nationals to that country.
Jamaican nationals who hold multiple entry visas to the USA, Canada or the UK must ensure that the visas are valid for a minimum of 45 days after the expiry of their planned stay in Bermuda. They must also ensure that their Jamaican passports have a validity of at least 45 days after the expiry of their planned stay. The change took effect on March 1. The Transport Authority is appealing to the operators of public passenger vehicles not to wait until the last minute to renew their road licenses, which all expire on March 31.
They would have to have their vehicles inspected. They would have had to supply us with the driver's name, though we'd still print the license without holding on to, without them giving us a driver. They would give them 30 days to complete that process. We have agreed that we will print those licenses within 24 hours.
The Transport Authority is working on a plan to renew all road licenses on their anniversary dates as opposed to an annual renewal. And finally, Jamaica joined the family of 53 nations of the British Commonwealth in celebrating Commonwealth Day on March 10 under the theme Team Commonwealth. In her message, head of the Commonwealth, Great Britain's Queen Elizabeth, stressed that member nations could achieve more through teamwork than they could alone. Similarly, Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller said Jamaica cherished the relationship within the group as growth could not take place without effective partnerships with countries within and outside the Commonwealth. The Prime Minister, in her message, said she was heartened by the establishment of an open-ended ministerial group on small states to address the developmental concerns of vulnerable nations. State Minister for Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade Arnaldo Brown supported the view.
I understand that the Commonwealth Secretary General, during a visit to the region a few weeks ago, announced plans to establish a trade facility that would benefit CARICOM countries. This is indeed a welcome development following on the heels of the establishment of an open-ended ministerial group on small states.
And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Stacey Ann Smith. Thank you for watching.
That can easily change if we allow the cutting of trees, forest fires, animal grazing, crop cultivation, or improper dwellings to destroy our forest reserves. Help preserve Jamaica's flora and fauna. If you know or suspect that someone is hurting our forest reserves, call 1-888-FORESTS. Remember, protecting our forests means sustaining our lives.
Weather conditions around the world seem to be going haywire, and a lot of this is being attributed to climate change. Hear now how the government is educating the public and how you can take action.
Extreme heat, extreme cold. Weather conditions around the globe have been going from one end of the scale to the next. In the winter of 2013, temperatures dipped to record levels in North America, Europe, and Asia. It's forcing countries everywhere to stop and take stock, to seriously re-examine the issue of climate change.
Thus, the government of Jamaica, through the Ministry of Water, Land, Environment and Climate Change, has embarked on a series of public consultations on the draft Green Paper for the Climate Change Policy Framework and Action Plan.
The first of these consultations with residents of St. Mary, St. Anne and Portland.
The ministry has stepped up its public education on climate change. The first step, discussions with members of the public to get feedback on the Climate Change Policy Framework and Action Plan, which was approved by Parliament in November 2013. The discussion began with a simple definition of climate change.
Climate change involves distinct changes in measures of climate, lasting for long periods of time, resulting from human activity. So it's not just variation that would be normal, but these are long-term changes, almost permanent changes in the weather over time.
We need to get the message out, and although it is currently very popular, the whole education about climate change is somewhat behind because it's with us and it's all around us. Longer droughts, heavier rains, more severe droughts, varying extremes.
And these extremes can cost the country millions. Severe droughts, heavier rains, and intense storms spell disaster. Like Hurricane Ivan in 2004, which cost Jamaica $36.9 billion and wiped out 8% of the country's gross domestic product that year. So government crafted a climate change policy framework and action plan to ensure people understand the importance of climate change mitigation and include mitigation in every aspect of planning across all sectors of society. The policy also supports institutions that will do climate change research and inform the rest of the country. These policy goals were explained to about 120 residents who turned up at the St. Mary Parish Church to hear more about the policy and give their opinions. Local climate change experts made the link between climate change phenomena and the day-to-day experiences of most Jamaicans.
The fact is that temperature is rising, and according to the scientists, at a rate of 0.1 degree every decade. So every 10 years, the temperature goes up by 1/10 of a degree. Anybody experiencing temperature increases? Have you noticed that the nights are getting warmer? We're having more warm nights, more warm days, and fewer nights that are very cold. Have you been experiencing that? That's a part of the reality of climate change.
In fact, in less than 10 years, global experts say Kingston will experience significant changes due to climate change. With the aid of charts, the ministry's principal director for the Climate Change Division showed residents the levels of temperature change to expect.
Different places will be affected differently. For example, in the western section of the island, the section number 2, 3, 8, and 9, those sections, Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, they will significantly be affected.
But while some damage has already been done, residents were told how government was working to slow or cushion the effects of climate change.
Our mitigation measures, and these are measures that we take to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and also measures that we take to remove greenhouse gases from the atmosphere.
And on the other hand, adaptation measures are used to address the generally accepted inevitable impacts of climate change on the natural and built environment. Practical examples include rainwater harvesting to deal with the effects of drought, raising houses and other buildings to deal with the damaging effects of flooding, and more. These are measures now being used in the development orders for St. Anne and Portland, where local authorities will identify sites for new urban settlements that will lessen their vulnerability to natural hazards, outlawing practices such as building in disaster-prone zones. In the meantime, residents were advised of some basic environmental no-nos.
We have a tendency in this country to burn everything we see inside. All the garbage you collect, you burn. The trees you cut down, you burn. This burning releases carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, and that affects the climate, that affects the environment.
And truly, it was an interactive session with residents voicing concern about environmental issues.
We need to be a part of the process. So I'm recommending that you look at not just this mass meeting, but at the parish level, at the community level, where the document can be looked at that level. So we get it beforehand, so we could have gone through it, made some notes, made some comments.
Policy framework has been circulated for some time now. It is in parish libraries across Jamaica. It is available electronically on the website of our ministry. The document is with parish councils, the National Association of Parish Development Committees, and through the Best Communities Competition, that network, we're getting it out. So we will do our best effort.
I would like to say that I think that the initiative taken by the government is a very good one, because climate change is real and its effects are real. and it affects all of us, whether directly or indirectly. I think that the media outlets should play a more prominent role in helping to disseminate information to the public. And I think that they should try to convey the message like in layman's terms more, because a lot of people may not understand the big words and the terms that you may use. So I feel that we should do that more.
A point duly noted and welcomed by Minister of Water, Land, Environment and Climate Change Robert Pickersgill, who promised to simplify the issues. Still, the residents felt good about the discussions.
Very informative. I believe this is a good initiative by the government in combating climate change in Jamaica. This is a growing concern in our country and will affect our children to come.
I would just like to applaud the chairman and whoever is here today, who have been informing us about climate change, as some people are not aware of some of the things discussed about climate change.
In the words of Minister Pickersgill, with climate change, we must change. For GIS News, I'm Tamara McHale.
Smoking, it's bad for your health. There's nothing cool about this habit. Tobacco smoking is a silent killer that will snare you in a horrific cycle of addiction that robs you of your money and your health. And it's not just you who suffers. Those around you who inhale the smoke are also at risk, your friends and loved ones. So stop if you've started, or resist before you begin the habit. Stay healthy.
Ever heard of chronic obstructive pulmonary disease? Get the facts on this condition in today's Healthwise and find out about a research program underway to ascertain its pervasiveness in Jamaica.
Getting rid of and avoiding air-polluting actions like these are important ways in ensuring that we live healthier and longer lives. We'd be preventing life-altering conditions such as chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD.
Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease worldwide is recognized as a cause of significant what we call disability adjusted life years. It means that it cuts you down, it causes early mortality, you die younger than you ought to. But what is more frustrating is that if you continue to live, it's the quality of life that you now enjoy is so tremendously affected by shortness of breath as a result of this chronic cigarette smoking.
If you're a tobacco smoker, were once a smoker, have been exposed to secondhand smoke and other air pollutants like chemical fumes and dust for a long time, you could be suffering from COPD. COPD is a condition where the airways are damaged, causing less air flowing in and out of the body when we breathe. A pulmonologist is a doctor who specializes in treating the resulting lung disorders. According to consultant pulmonologist at the University Hospital of the West Indies, the UHWI, Dr. Althea Akar Stewart, it is one of the leading tobacco-induced diseases, with common signs and symptoms including ongoing coughs that produce excess mucus, shortness of breath, especially when doing physical activity, wheezing, and tightness of the chest.
Unfortunately, it looks a lot like asthma. So you hear the patients coughing, they bring up a lot of cold in the mornings or sputum, and you say, oh, they wheeze and they are short of breath, and you think it's asthma, but it's not really asthma. What it is the beginning of the effects of cigarette smoke on the lung, and they have a condition which is called chronic obstructive pulmonary disease.
Your doctor can find out if you have COPD by checking to see how well your lungs are working through spirometry testing.
Now, spirometry is really very simple. What it's doing is asking you to breathe into a machine and looking at how quickly you can breathe the air out of your lungs.
COPD may cause no symptoms or mild symptoms at first, but as it progresses, it worsens and the symptoms usually become severe. The severity of your symptoms will depend on how much your lung has been damaged, and if you keep smoking, the damage will occur faster than if you stopped smoking. A severe case of COPD can cause symptoms such as swelling in the ankles, feet, or legs, and there is an increased risk of heart disease, cancer, and pneumonia.
The response that takes place in the lungs causes damage to the heart, to the bones, to the GI tract. It's a systemic disease.
Emergency care should be sought if one has difficulty breathing or talking, lips and fingers turn blue or gray, mental alertness is gone, and there is heart palpitations. What's the prevalence of COPD in Jamaica? Research was designed under a $20 million initiative dubbed the Burden of Obstructive Lung Disease BOLD project to determine this. The Ministry of Health, in collaboration with the Pulmonary Research Group from the University of the West Indies, UWI Department of Medicine, has made this their priority for an 8-month period beginning March 2014.
The study has actually been done in many other countries, and the data that has come out of this study has been useful to the different health planners in the countries.
Funding of the research is a joint effort of the National Health Fund and the UWI Principles Initiative Fund. It has been designed to garner statistics on the pervasiveness of COPD and examine the recurrent costs of doctors' visits, medication, and productive time lost and its impact on the economy. Data collected will form part of the worldwide data on COPD.
We think that this particular project will give us a lot of information to plan on how to look at the prevalence of chronic obstructive pulmonary disease and to put health plans in place in our health system, which will only improve the quality of health care that we are able to provide for our country.
Significant focus is being placed on ensuring that youth are aware of the dangers of smoking. It has been asserted that once persons start smoking, they become addicted, and at that point, even for adults, choice is no longer an option.
My patients as a pulmonologist tell me that cigarette smoking can be very gratifying because nicotine is a highly addictive substance. Once it gets to the brain and the dopamine is released, which causes the high, you feel at peace with the world. The problem with cigarette smoking is that while that feel-good comes, the effects or the damage come much later down the road.
COPD is not a contagious disease and it has no cure, at least not yet. Therefore, it's best to steer clear of cigarette smoke and other harmful lung irritants. However, if you have COPD, treatments and lifestyle changes can help you feel better, stay more active, and slow the progress of the disease.
Did you know regular physical activity controls your weight, reduces your risk of cardiovascular diseases, reduces your risk for type 2 diabetes and metabolic syndrome, reduces your risk of some cancers, strengthens your bones and muscles, and increases your chance of living longer? Get active, get fit, stay healthy.
Last week, the government of Jamaica rolled out its new health card, and already thousands are in possession of it. The card, which is already available to all Jamaicans, is now the primary means by which citizens can access healthcare services, including pharmaceuticals. So we went out a road to hear how this card is benefiting Jamaicans.
Getting help from the hospital, your medical, maybe you don't have the funds, but the health card can help you through very well.
Sometimes we don't have the money to deal with certain things, and when we have this, we can go through and look after ourselves. Suppose me feel here, so pain me or anything like that, when we need to go to the doctor. I believe it's helpful.
I have been told that it will have all your medical history. So when you use it, and when you go out and you go to the service provider, they will know, at least the other doctors, they will know your medical history.
It helps in many ways. I don't got my own, so I don't have plenty things to say about it. But I think it will work.
And I'm glad for it. Medical is more cheaper. And I appreciate it a lot, you know. So I give thanks for it. And for a very good program. We help our people who can afford. You understand?
A lot. Very a lot. Because the amount of money you should pay for the drugs, and when carrying the card, you get it cheaper.
Celebrate Jamaica to the world. Fastest man in the world. First Jamaican woman to win gold in Olympic 100-meter sprint. An upcoming global superstar. Mouth-watering meals. And a vibrant set of people. We are Jamaicans. Let's get together and bring back the love.
I find out that this program is a very good program because the purpose of this program is to target inner city youths that drop out of school, never get to make much of themselves. So this is like a second chance.
It's a good look and they need to try it. They need to try it because that is the way right now I'm seeing true life. Because going to Angle Gun the other way, it doesn't make no sense. You're gonna die.
What I'd have to say to the younger folks like me in the inner city, I will tell them that young is a dead end, and right now them leg off of the negative energy and try to make something of themselves, try apply themselves as a better man in society so them can be able to provide for them youths and them family without have to do anything illegal or police have to look for them or nothing like that.
The Citizen Security and Justice Program, CSJP, an initiative of the Ministry of National Security, empowering unattached youth in volatile communities while promoting peace-building initiatives.
That's how we close the pages of Jamaica Magazine today. I hope you learned something. Be sure to catch up on all the latest government news, policies and programs on our website, YouTube and social media platforms. Plus, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm. And here's a thought. Think twice before you speak, because your words and influence will plant the seeds of either success or failure in the mind of another. Napoleon Hill said that. On behalf of the hard-working JIS team, I'm Audrey Williams, wishing you blessings.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.